John Lilly once put it this way: there are no limits at all to the human mind whatsoever, except those we impose on ourselves because of our beliefs. And those limits are also beliefs to be transcended. And that's a view that suggests that the possibilities of human transformation are virtually infinite. And we have no way of knowing the outer horizon of what it means to be human.
And really, to understand all this, everything, you have to go very, very deep into a study of history, consciousness, neurophysiology, everything. You have to be the supreme eclectic type of leaning, and you really have to be wanting to know who you are and what everything's about.
And the thing that you'll find when you go to sacred sites, if you're very humble about it, is that you are on a personal journey, and the sacred site will respond to you in a way that is appropriate only to you. The information is always what you are searching for. And it's the intent you give that energy that defines whether it is used for right action or not. And it is inside these sacred spaces that you will be reminded that you are a god, that you are a bright star.
So what you're trying to do is move through the course without ricocheting off walls or creating karma. You're trying to slide through things smoothly. How do you do that? It's called flowing. There's a technique that you can do that will allow you to touch some part of your inner being that has more knowledge than your conscious state does.
Hey guys, it's Hodge here. Just doing a quick intro to the second part of the mainstream that I've done. I decided, as I said in the last video, I decided to break it up into what we're been, where we've been, and this one is sort of more relevant to the now. So it's a bit like at the edge of our tomorrow sort of theme is what I'm sort of saying, or might have said, or I might have changed the name and stuff, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to welcome you. Thank you for finding me. You are the crazy diamond galactic last mimsies that to be here now, and this video is probably going to make offer a lot of context to all that. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you gain a lot out of it, and I hope you have gained a lot out of all the past ones that I've released. And enjoy. See you on the other side. This is about you as well, alright? This is how you fit into all this, because you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't be in human form now unless this was an aspect of your truth. So while I talk about it might feel like you're not galactic special forces, you are, and what I'm trying to do is activate those who have it in them to do their stuff. And this data that I'm imparting will go a great way to help activate like a big puzzle piece in the consciousness Tetris in a lot of people, because it took me like thousands of hours to put that together to create my teaching here based on the information I've gathered. If this was a teaching of someone else's stuff, it would have been put together that way. It hasn't, so I have to do it now, alright? Because I'm just getting to the chase of what's going on Earth and to humanity now relative to the book cover I showed, alright? Because it's like, it's sort of confirmation that we're breaking through at another level, alright? So, we've got the light and the dark down the bottom, we've got the 15 beings doing their shit, alright? So what happened was, so if I bring up the other image, all this craziness was going on, alright? You might just make you fall asleep looking at that, how complex it is. There's all these influences, all these vested interests, all these thousands of species all trying to get control and their place and creating more drama and consequence, and the complexity of everything is off the charts, alright? So in this, alright, if I simplify that to just this, alright, what everyone was trying to do is go back to the start, alright? Mark the territory on a soul level as a skin suit. So Andrew said there was 72 first species of Earth, and every time a species went back and claimed Earth as their own as the first, it had ripples back through time and everyone and changed and stuff. And then there was time wars, like timeline genocide, where Back to the Future is an awesome example, like Marty McFly's family disappearing, alright? And so there's things like timeline fallout shutters to protect your soul. So we've all probably got shards of ourselves, which a shard is a tiny section that can be reanimated our soul. Like you imagine a compressed data backup of our whole soul is stored in a safe area that's impervious to timeline wars and genocide. Timeline genocide is where species is wiped and stuff like that, alright? So what happened in Atlantis, for instance, I know what Andrew said is that they got to a point where Earth was under so much attack from the consequences of these other eras, alright? What happened is, and he said it was outside Alaska region and stuff, is 300,000 super psychics got together and formed a collective that went out and did timeline genocides for the species that were trying to invade Earth, alright? So what we would do is remote into planets, track the species that were trying to invade us, go back to their source and destroy their planet. So we'd wipe entire species that were attacking us from the universe. And what eventually happened is we did that to billions of planets, you know, trillions of souls and stuff, and it got to the point where like a high level Atlantis actually became the dark in the universe. Does that make sense? Right? Because it got to the point where we were going from defense to offense to take out anyone that was a threat, sort of thing. So the rest of the universe that were dark switched to being light and then tried to take us out, and then another level of escalation of war and stuff like that, alright? So what was happening to see in the like third Lemuria, alright, there was bureaus, like a bit like, say, the Lockie Muri movie or Continuum. Continuum's an awesome series where there's like the police that manage the timelines and all that sort of stuff. So bureaus of time sort of thing could actually see that, you know, trying to do anything to resolve it going backwards, there was nothing we could do. So what we all realized at some point, and I feel like I was there, it was like we realized going backward in time there was no solution. We tried that and it just created more havoc. So the only thing we could do is go forward through time at some point in the future, which I might show. There's a really cool scene in and I might have been overlaying it with this relative to Star Trek Edge of Darkness, where they had to sort of leap from one ship to the other, how fragile and uncertain it was, going through all the objects and all that sort of stuff, alright? Just to get into a little box, little opening in the ship on the other side. So to me that was a really interesting metaphor when I see that, of how challenging it is actually to be incarnating into human form now, alright? And it's not like we're separate, like some of us might have been separate and just skipped all the crap and got here, but Earth is sort of a trap planet, and the only way we could do it was having the intent to try and get through all this shit, go through all ups and downs, crap lifetimes and stuff, to get to the point to just get on the other side now in the unawareness realm, when all the mystery schools are broken, all the libraries of Alexander and all the, you know, the teachers like the Jedi Masters sort of the metaphor of the Jedi sort of training that we all have a resonance for is like a mystery school teaching of the mysteries of the universe, and the advanced humans were the Jedis that went out and had restored balance to the universe. So yeah, and so this is where we're at metaphorically. We couldn't go back. It was too crazy. Creating more drama. We've tried that endlessly, and it only just creates more unresolution. So we all chose to divest from here and go some future point in time and meet up at the end when the resolution was possible. And that's who we are. If you're here on Earth, you know, I had an idea that there were 21 trillion beings in this galaxy, and there was like 198 trillion beings in the universe trying to get here to now. And I'm not talking like a little 3D being. I'll show you. Like I'm talking a being at this level, right? Where they're so vast, they need to have all these bodies in the 3D to just have an experience. So they're only a tiny little section of the total oversoul, right? Metaphor. So when I say like 19 trillion or 21 trillion or 198 trillion, whatever, they might be enough for hundreds of trillions, whatever numbers beyond trillions of beings in 3D human form now. So just to have, 7.3 billion here is a minuscule amount of the soul potential that wants to be here out of that vast volume, alright? So that's how impressive a soul you are, okay? That's how massive this is. That's how complicated this Incarnation War is. And like the call to earth that Dolores Cannon had, my metaphor is, because what Andrew said, Earth, like when darkness got in control of Earth, they moved Earth 12 times to even at different coordinates in the universe or the galaxy. So when beings were doing time travel, they got lost, right? They went into void space and stuff like that, right? Very, very complex sort of stuff going on. So what Andrew said is on one of the teleportations of Earth, they hurt Earth so much, she let out this cry that was the beacon, that was the metaphor of the Dolores Cannon of us divesting and hearing the call to come to Earth and get involved in all this. So there's been a huge sort of soul level will on all sides to get this resolved, right? And so my intent from actually talking about this is to aid all sides to get some clarity of something that's so impossibly complex that we needed someone like Andrew to explain it, right? And whatever happened to me and all that, it's all just drama, and it's all interesting variables of what's playing out that's led for me to be here to be able to explain this. I do it in my sacred neutral because to actually offer all the variables in this means it must be sacred neutral, right? I'm not censoring stuff just because I've got an issue with someone or whatever, right? It's about you and all forces on all sides, wherever they are now, to hear this and share this and get an idea of what's going on. Because what I know in my life and making good decisions is it's required having the truth as a foundation to make decisions and appreciate things and stuff. And if anything you get out of this, you get an appreciation of how incredible you are as a being just to be here. But what are you going to do with that, right? Like, are you going to sit on your ass and complain or whinge or whine because it's tough, or are you going to fire up and realize you are the best of the best and it's no one else out there? It's only up to us, all right? So yeah, that's the next level, like Edge of Tomorrow, why it is so bad, right? And so when you get a context of that, and then the more recent times, so going back to the Dolores Cannon and her time frames, how there's, like, from her perspective, the 3 waves. So you look at what's done to children, all right? Why is that done, Alright, so it's like the system's here waiting to catch you, alright, on the soul level. And the difference between the body and the soul, alright, you might be an epic soul, but if your skin suit is suppressed, then you don't get all your abilities, alright? So if I go and show you another diagram, so this is my metaphor of like our potential with the frequencies, alright? If I show you the other diagram, so the very first one that I showed is this one where we've got the little uptick now, where we're going through the galactic central plane and everything is on our favor. So the potential of us isn't this, it's this expanded with all our gifts and stuff. So what is done? What is done to prevent our talents that are natural, dormant in our abilities that need the higher frequencies? So it's all about control of the skin suit. Does that make sense? That's what is going on Earth now, alright? So when I show you this, to me, alright, it hasn't worked on the babies. We've still gotten through that. So there needs to be a next level. And the next level is just to eliminate volume. Okay? So to me, it's sort of confirmation of this. Does that make sense? Like, there wouldn't be a need for what's going on if you really done your homework and stuff, unless it was confirmation that there was trouble and stuff. And my pure intent for offering this is to actually disarm everyone and realize, look, let's settle down. Let's not have to go to the extremes. I think the dark, as I've said, the dark have been a motivator for us to go to this. Right? My attitude is the dark have been the allies for this to come about. Right? And what I'm saying is, you know, the dark potentially don't know that they've been influenced to do this, right? There's a variable that's mixing with them, and I'm wanting to actually offer that to them to disarm, right? Because there's a party out there like it's brats, right? They're mega brats, and why I say this is, you know, I've had a pretty epic reading with Andrew and stuff, and perhaps, you know, those of you here where the other 9 that aren't the 15 that he said that there were 24 high-level beings and stuff, and my guess is most of us are all aspects of them, alright, if you're here and you're listening to that. And so in another respect, we're the brothers of the 15, and I sort of feel that, and you know, there's not the 15 here anymore. Like, you would have to get Andrew to sort of clarify all that and stuff, and it's not going to be me. But yeah, it's like this sort of level of stakes. It's not all like pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. It's edge of tomorrow shit, alright? If you want to be naive and live that delusional life, which most people are when it comes down to the crunch, you know, people talk a big game, but like, you got to put the big boots on and walk the walk, right? And that's where I've shared Galactic Special Forces stuff. I've been a part of everything. I don't think I'm that great. You know, I've got so many issues, and most people are very happy to find my faults to justify what they do, alright? And that's, to me, when I'm perceiving the shit in another, it's my reflection, alright? So I invite you to tune in. I wear all my victories on my psychic sleeve and stuff like that. And I am offering transparency and all this sort of stuff because my attitude is we don't need to go to the extremes that we're gone to and stuff. And you can appreciate when you invest from the other person's perspective why they would need to do that and what they're fearful of and stuff. And you can negate that. So this is quite long, and I thank you for being here if you have. And I hope you've gotten something from it. I hope you see those images and mosquitoes are enjoying. And I hope you get activated and see how elegant things are, and it demystifies and decomplexes a lot of stuff. I just wanted to instill these and offer them now. There's probably going to be things that I want to expand on later and stuff. But yeah, it's just, if anything out of this, it inspires you to own inside of you, like you are your own Crocodile, Star-Lord, Wolverine, Aladdin, Dundee, alright? Like, own your power, alright? Who else is fucking gonna offer it to you? Most people are gonna probably look to take advantage of your inability to accept yourself and use you as a platform like many people have, and not give a shit about the consequence of their actions to you or interfering with your will, alright? That's why I put in that Richard Allen Miller stuff in Galactic Special Forces Part 7 and 8, alright? So, yeah, I thank you for being here, and I do this in honor to all those that haven't made it, you know, all those allies and brothers and sisters that we would have wanted to be here with, but a lot of them haven't gotten through the grid and stuff like that, because the mechanics of incarnation is very, very, you know, it's very, very comprehended and understood, and this incarnation sort of war is a strategy used throughout the universe and stuff. That's what Andrew sort of said, and it's not, we need to get out of our culture and our beliefs that we've accepted that incarnation is just a natural thing that goes on when it's not mechanicalized and it's not interfered with, and like soul contracts are inserted and stuff, and things like I'll just add these things like in the 300 movie about the Spartans, like they would throw babies off the cliffs and stuff like that, and you think that that sort of thing is very disgusting and stuff. But my attitude is, cultures in the past, they had high level of perception. They could tune into the soul of the body, and they could tell if they were being infiltrated by the dark or the 15, like back in the past. You know, back here, their perceptions were a lot higher than now, than we have, alright? So things like that we have perspectives on, we don't have the context, we don't have the standing, we don't even comprehend that a being could tune into the soul of what's there, like what species or what side and stuff. So yeah, it's just, I hope you ponder this greatly and feel the enormity of how amazing and courageous you are just to have endured all that to get here. We've all got soul fatigue, we're all burnt out, we're all potentially facing a lot more hardship and stuff, and the reason for sharing all this is to hope to disarm that and realize we don't have to go to the levels that we're going to go to. And if you're on the light, don't be so polarized against the dark, right? Give them the space to put their weapons down, a bit like if you go and listen to the Galactic Special Forces that Nikki and I have done particularly. We've given the species the opportunity to disarm, and Galactic Special Forces 1 is a prime example of that. So they're all offered for teachings of all sides, alright? Because what will happen is we as humans become the Universal Special Forces, Jedis, whatever you want to claim it. We've got the skin suit, we've got the awareness and stuff, and we will be the ultimate power in the universe. So that is who you are if you're here. So I just want to thank you for finding me. If this is the first time I've ever seen you, I hope you go back and watch a lot of the other stuff. There are epic downloads with all my codes and everything in there to get you up to speed ASAP. If you're having issues, I hope you do seek me out and invest in me to help with the session. I'll just say one thing that happened just recently, which was really cool. It was a couple weeks ago, and it took a lot out of me. A really amazing lady she was 7th generation of the convicts that came to Australia. So what I've said about the convicts, they were tortured and haunted. So when they stepped foot on the land here, all the demons and entities in them went in and attacked the Dreamtime to take out the shamans and stuff, and then take over the 3D. So the judges and, you know, the criminality that goes on in the police and all that, and the courts and all that, to instill law on the land of Australia. So this is the power of what One Healing has, alright? Is when she told me all that, I just put together and I did my healing. I do the pranic healing at the start, which is the defensive part, and then the second part where I've got my own revocation relative to infinite potential. And what I did was pull back all the shit through her ancestral lines, all that haunting, all that violations, pulled it back and resolved it. So it's like pulling the whole structure on the multi-dimensional level, and the hauntings and the grid and the negative aspects of the Dreamtime, and clearing it just through one person, right? So that's pretty epic. There were only a couple hundred people that came here, and they're all massively haunted and all that sort of stuff. So that's the power one person has, one healing in one session. So just because you might feel powerless and feeling lack of hope and stuff like that, just remember, the night is darkest just before the light. Right? The night is the most coldest just before the sunrise. So it may seem like that, but my attitude is there's huge potential in it as well. So I want to thank you very much for finding this. It's been a huge thing for me to share, and I want to thank you for whatever you've gone through and whatever it is taking you to get to here. I hope you get a lot from this, and I hope it activates you and you find the spark in your the fire inside to get activated and grow and be all you can be. The rest of humanity are going to need us. So see you next time. Thank you for this. Lots of love to you. Hang in there. Take each day at a time, each breath at a time, each moment at a time. We are the best and best. We can do this, and we will do it. See you next time. Andre out.
all the mountains and ice are beginning to melt. And history is changing and times are changing. What does that mean to us? The greatest opportunity to be a part of a shifting consciousness to bring more compassion, more caring, more love, and more support to our friends and neighbors. All the terrifying stuff, to me, only makes it more exciting, because you will never die. You are chosen to come to this world, and you chose to come to this world. End of story. You were chosen to come because the divine architect believes that there is no one better suited than you at a certain time, at a certain place, at a certain point in the unfoldment of the spiritual world into the physical world by way of you for an event to occur. You are the divine system that a physical spiritual matter, person or being or consciousness can move through you and manifest into this rock in the middle of a solar system. And you're here because they decided, as they're unfolding from that dimension of reality into this dimension of reality, there's nobody better than you to be able to execute that particular precise moment, whether it be once or 1,000 times, than you. So the fact that there may be anybody else on the earth just like you is 1 in 16 billion. Well, there's only 6 billion, 300-400 million suckers here. So guess what? You the one. So get over it. And stay out of your own way. Where is your reality then? What happens to who you are in your evolution of yourself as a human being, but more importantly, as a spiritual being? You'll never die. To live in this world is an opportunity that you were earned to be able and to create and to hold a spiritual consciousness through some really turbulent times to come. You wouldn't be sitting in this room if you weren't ready. You're sitting in this room because you're getting another piece of data to be able to make decisions upon as you move forward in this world that is coming, the changing face of time. In our lifetime, we will bear witness to a cosmic event in the beginning of an age. It has upheaval, it has changes, it has great shifts and great perspectives, and some of it is a little frightening. Unless you realize that this happened, you chose to be here, and you were chosen to be here.
So everything I've done, like the Galactic Special Forces, all that, it's in the algorithm of my Akashic record and my frequency of my DNA and all that sort of stuff. So it's there. So it's like I'm a codex of codes and stuff. So whatever code the individual needs, they get, sort of thing. Whatever's the right time of their journey and stuff in their consciousness Tetris. And this information, it's funny, it's from my perspective, I'm giving you the answers at the end of the like, say, math book and stuff, and I don't know if schools use books anymore, but they used to give us textbooks with the answers in the end, and you weren't meant to cheat. But because I'm giving you the answers on many things, it probably won't make sense because you don't have the context, because to understand the context, you do have to go through that consciousness Tetris, and I might be overlaying an image of a competition of Tetris, so you get, like, unless you get the right blocks for the lower levels, you're not going to comprehend this sort of stuff, and that's all cool. Trust me, the discovery process is awesome here, alright? It's one of the gifts we have in this unawareness realm, and that. So I love that journey of discovery. It's such a gift to get new realizations and you get that level clear, and then you see things from a totally different perspective, and I love that shift that you get, especially when you're wrong, all right?
John Lilly once put it this way: there are no limits at all to the human mind whatsoever, except those we impose on ourselves because of our beliefs. And those limits are also beliefs to be transcended. And that's a view that suggests that the possibilities of human transformation are virtually infinite. And we have no way of knowing the outer horizon of what it means to be human.
And really, to understand all this, everything, you have to go very, very deep into a study of history, consciousness, neurophysiology, everything. You have to be the supreme eclectic type of leaning, and you really have to be wanting to know who you are and what everything's about.
And the thing that you'll find when you go to sacred sites, if you're very humble about it, is that you are on a personal journey, and the sacred site will respond to you in a way that is appropriate only to you. The information is always what you are searching for. And it's the intent you give that energy that defines whether it is used for right action or not. And it is inside these sacred spaces that you will be reminded that you are a god, that you are a bright star.
So what you're trying to do is move through the course without ricocheting off walls or creating karma. You're trying to slide through things smoothly. How do you do that? It's called flowing. There's a technique that you can do that will allow you to touch some part of your inner being that has more knowledge than your conscious state does.